That moment in the movie is actually so iconic. I was like, that's honest. I can't think of a more exciting moment in a movie than when somebody, and he slams the door open. I'm like, this is perfect. That's exactly what
Name a more iconic moment.
I literally was hyped watching it again. I was like, oh my God, the movie's starting.
It's a fun fact. People don't know this, but Shrek actually improvised that.
Oh.
Like he was just listening to the song and he just slammed that door. Like the director wasn't prepared for it or anything.
They were getting B-roll footage. Yeah.
It's like the scene on the rooftop in The Room where Timey Wiseau came out and threw the water bottle on the ground.
Did you say Timey?
Did I say Timey? I don't know.
Timey Wiseau.
So many possible worlds, but we got this one. So many possible worlds, but we got this one.
Welcome to the Worst of All Possible Worlds, the first and only old-timey podcast. I'm the worst of all possible Joshes.
I'm the worst of all possible AJ.
And I'm Shrek from the movie.
I'm
the worst of all possible Bryans. I'm the worst of all possible Bryans. I'm just doing it.
That's Brian.
Joke.
We're very excited to have a guest joining us for this discussion of the seminal DreamWorks 2001 animated motion picture Shrek. She streams, posts, and makes YouTube videos about odd and forgotten video games on her channel at Memoria Matters. And alongside fellow YouTuber Annie Austin, she co-hosts GLHF, which is the world's first podcast in video games.
It's true. It's a fact.
And I believe, based on my research, she is also a low-key Shrek enthusiast. We are thrilled to welcome her to the show. Memoria, hello.
Hello. Low-key is understating it, honestly.
Oh, really?
I was searching on my own channel the word Shrek, of course, to remind myself of what I've experienced in the past, because I've played a couple of the games. It was a shocking number of video. I think it was like 5 or 6 videos in which I'm doing something Shrek related. So I'm more of a fan than I even believed.
Well, Mem, I reached out to you. I just sent you an email because I had seen your stream of the modern classic Shrek Super Party for the Xbox, which you did a few weeks ago. Ooh. And ever since then, I have been unable to get the phrase, "That's good bug juice, Thelonious," out of my head.
We also all played that game together, and what a nightmare.
Yeah.
What is it about Shrek?
I like the movies. I like silly things. I like buying into silly things. I think Shrek is like memeified so much that a lot of people think it's ironic. But like, honestly, I rewatched all the movies and did like a little review in a video a few years ago. And like, there's like legitimately funny moments. I just like them.
You were like 6 when Shrek came out, right? So like, do you have a memory of like the first time that you've seen it? Or was it just like, has it always just been a part of your life meaningfully?
I think that's one of those things that's just, it's like, it's always been there.
Yeah.
I don't remember a time before Shrek.
This is something that's kind of interesting about where Shrek sort of places itself in the American popular imagination is that I feel like if you were born in or after the year 1993, 94, you literally don't remember a world without Shrek. And then if you're a little bit older than that, you do remember the pre-Shrek world, but it's very hazy.
Yeah, it's like the atomic bomb or 9/11. Yeah.
It was the same year as 9/11, right? That's the thing.
Coincidence?
No, not at all.
No.
That's on purpose. They were trying to stop him. He was supposed to be in the towers that day.
Oh, no.
So how it worked with me is we didn't have like cable growing up.
Sure.
So we had a collection of VHS tapes that I would simply watch over and over and over and over. Like the same 5 episodes of SpongeBob that were on the VHS that we had. I'm like, I've seen them hundreds of times. So Shrek was definitely one of those. It never got old.
What else was on regular rotation?
Oh, God.
For me, it was The Return of Jafar.
There were some weird ones that were like nobody normally would watch this movie this many times. Like Encino Man was one of them for me.
Hell yes.
Encino Man is like one of my childhood movies, and I could like recall it scene by scene almost because I've seen it so many times.
The thing about Shrek and the thing about DreamWorks more broadly, the studio that brought Shrek into existence, is that it is not something that's been around forever, as much as it may feel that way.
Yeah, I mean, I remember when Shrek was like a new thing, and I didn't go and see it in theaters, but I saw it at school on a tape later, and then I was like, oh, damn, this is pretty good. And I told my parents, and then we got a copy of Shrek, you know?
Oh, hell yeah.
It was our Encino Man, really. DreamWorks was this really bold idea of starting a brand new studio based on nothing Which is a bad idea, because when you have these studios that were started in the pre-World War II days, they were initially making hundreds of movies a year in the silent era and then like 50 movies a year in the talking era. So even when they don't have a new picture coming out, they have this huge backlog that they're able to put on TV or sell on tape or DVD or whatever. There are all of these different revenue streams coming.
Not to mention the gigantic studio lots that they had, which they were able to build back when land in LA was way the fuck cheaper than it is now.
Right. Instead of just sort of sticking yourself in a position where almost all you can do is animation. But that's what the guys at DreamWorks SKG decided to do. And you know what the SKG stands for?
I've always wondered.
Shrek Guys.
No, it doesn't.
That's
Brian,
what it stands for. They were the Shrek Guys.
No, it stands for Spielberg, Katzenberg, Geffen. It stands for the three
those guys have the same names as those three famous guys in Hollywood.
Shut up.
The
Wait,
hubris.
Spielberg was involved in founding DreamWorks?
He's the S in SKG.
I didn't know this.
Yep.
Yeah.
So his name is the one that gets Shrekified every time.
Mm-hmm.
How do you think he feels about that?
I think he feels great.
The Shrek guys of SKG DreamWorks were Steven Spielberg, who had gotten into animation after Roger Rabbit. He got so jazzed up by it. He's like, I want to make cartoons forever.
Well, did you see Jessica Rabbit? I mean, come on.
Right. He just wanted to keep making fuckable cartoon characters, which is why his next movies were Fievel and The Land Before Time. So he was working at Universal, or with Universal, with Don Bluth, making those movies. And then they split over creative differences. And Spielberg founded Amblimation, which produced Fievel Goes West, Balto.
Oh, I forgot about Balto. You want to talk about a character?
How did you forget about Balto,
because
Josh? He saved all those children. He showed you the Northern Lights.
It was
out
really
of broken
good
glass.
when he did
He's in
that.
Central Park right now. He's bronzified.
Am I the only one who did an entire unit about the Iditarod in elementary school?
Yes.
I do remember learning a weird amount about that.
Okay,
Really?
thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
So this is some sort of upper Midwest
This has got to
thing?
be an upper Midwest thing, right? Because I grew up, man, I grew up in Michigan, right? I grew up in Grand Rapids. So like every once in a while, whenever I have the opportunity to talk to somebody else who's from the upper Midwest, I'm always like, did you have these very weird experiences as a kid, like learning way too much about the Iditarod? And I guess the answer is yes.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you any like specific memories of learning it in class, but yeah, that was one of those things like sinkholes or quicksand where I feel like I learned a lot about as a kid for some reason and thought it would be relevant.
That's amazing. No, see, I was too busy getting a woke education and learning about the Trail of Tears and the Long Walk and everything.
Yeah.
I learned about the missions in California.
Yes, actually. I grew up next to a reservation. Like the fact that Balto has a statue in New York and that everyone is learning about the Iditarod in the Midwest, and it's all about some shit that happened in Alaska.
Balto transcends state lines, Brian.
Spielberg's Amblimation was not doing so great, but also he just had this better opportunity come along. So basically all of Amblimation got folded into DreamWorks Animation.
Right.
The next person to be involved in the SKG, the K in Shrek guys,
Yes.
is a fellow named Jeff Katzenberg. And he is the big guy here. He's like our main dude. He's not literally.
He's actually kind of
diminutive.
short.
That'll come up later. And he was fired from Disney. We won't go into all the details of that. Whenever we do an Ants episode, if that ever happens, we can talk about that in
That would
more
be a good
depth.
one. What a film.
But basically Disney, and we talked about this a little bit with Sweatbox, but Disney's executive magic was really held together by this guy named Frank Wells. He was the peacemaker between Roy Disney Jr., Michael Eisner, and Jeffrey Katzenberg. And then Frank Wells died in a helicopter skiing accident.
Don't fly in helicopters. Just like as a general rule, if you can avoid it, don't do it.
Yeah.
They're death birds.
So Eisner not only fired Katzenberg, he denied him his bonus. And this was all just like a few months after Frank Wells died. Katzenberg was really the more on-the-ground executive. He headed up Disney Animation. He's the guy who made it cheaper, and he's the guy who made it more formulaic and led to that the Disney renaissance of the late 80s and 90s.
Yeah, Katzenberg is a product guy. Like he understands how to package big ideas into a product that can be shipped to the consumer that they will enjoy uncritically.
And he's also like he is like in a true sense like a studio mogul of the old world. Like Eisner's not really like that because he's more focused on the bigger picture, parks and merchandising and
the global
everything.
Stuff, yeah.
But Katzenberg is focused on the creative side of things. He's the guy who gets Home Improvement made because he sees Tim Allen on HBO and he's like, this is the funniest man who has ever existed. I will give him anything he asks for.
He grunts in so many ways, Brian. Up and down.
So then Katzenberg teams up with the third guy in Shrek Guys, David Geffen.
The founder of Geffen Records, which is one of the biggest record labels.
Geffen also was in film and producing Broadway shows. So he got the Little Shop of Horrors movie made. Beetlejuice was under Geffen Films. On Broadway, he did Cats. He produced Dreamgirls. He produced Master Harold and the Boys. He even produced M. Butterfly with David Henry Hwang, which he was then able to make into a film using his studio, getting David Cronenberg to direct the movie adaptation.
This is making the musicality of Shrek make so much sense to me.
Because Geffen's big thing, outside of just having this love for theater, as evidenced by the fact that he would later endow Yale School of Drama for $150 million, he also understands the power of licensing music in movies, original songs. And a big piece of that is that Geffen Records has this massive fucking library of popular music.
Oh, sure.
Just a cool guy. David Geffen, great guy, no problems. Don't
Cats
Google
was
it.
another like disproportionately large part of my childhood. I saw it live. And I think
you
that
have the
was
tape?
one of the fucking VHSs.
Yes!
That's one of the weirdest tapes of a show because it's like Trevor Nunn did this with Oklahoma as well, but it's like Cats, the audience is like inside the show. So it's really weird to like film a version of it where they're not present. And you're just like on this empty set.
The cats are in an abyss.
You know, Jellicle is one of those things that I thought would make sense as I got older, and it's just made up. It doesn't make any sense at all. I think I looked at...
It's Dear Little in
I
a
think I looked
Cockney
it up one
accent.
time and it was like, yeah, they just made up a bunch of words. And I'm like, oh, okay.
So on the live action side, DreamWorks at the very beginning produced Amistad, Mouse Hunt. Its first movie was The Peacemaker. DreamWorks Animation is, of course, like the big thing, the thing we all know. And they were doing traditional animation until Sinbad a couple years after Shrek. They were doing CGI, of course. They were doing stop motion with Aardman. They even did one straight-to-video movie with Joseph, King of Dreams. But they started, of course, with the classic Ants and also Prince of Egypt, both such big topics that I'm going to say we're not going to really talk about them at all today.
No.
One of them is great.
And it's ants.
So DreamWorks was not its own distributor because they're a new fledgling studio. They teamed up with Universal for distribution. And because they had to compete with Pixar and Steve Jobs, they came up with this deal with Pacific Data Images where they would get 40% ownership of the company and PDI would have 60% ownership still. So that's why we get these sort of distinct styles between DreamWorks and Pixar. They're using different systems and different companies and developing new techs.
DreamWorks would later end up acquiring PDI in the same way that Disney would end up acquiring Pixar.
Yeah.
In the first movie that is released by this new consolidated entity, DreamWorks, that now fully owns PDI, is, well, it's our topic of conversation today. Because back in 1991, Steven Spielberg bought the option for a children's book called Shrek by William Steig, brought it into DreamWorks, and this production, this movie, had been in various stages of development hell since 1995. It took 6 years to get this movie out the door.
Yeah, at one point, J.J. Abrams was attached to it.
Wait, really?
And all he had done at that point was, I think, Regarding Henry.
That's
which was a movie that
crazy.
was on loop in my house growing up because my parents are doctors and it's about a guy rehabbing after an injury.
I think that's why J.J. Abrams hired on Colin Trevorrow to the Star Wars sequel trilogy, because he saw that he made a movie called The Book of Henry.
It's part of the Henry cinematic universe, the
Henriad, if you will.
I want to get now into the book.
One of my biggest questions when I started to look into this was like, how was this even bought for a movie if like nobody even knows about this book? Like, where did this come from? Was it like wildly popular or something?
Well, Steig himself was kind of famous. His peak, I mean, he was so old when he wrote Shrek. His peak in his career was like the post-war period, where he was kind of almost a countercultural comic figure before the underground comic scene.
His backstory is not dissimilar to Dr. Seuss, where he was a pretty successful illustrator.
Sure.
He made some of his money doing ads, and he made some of his money doing publications, specifically comics for The New Yorker. And he actually is the most prolific cartoonist in the history of The New Yorker. He drew over 1,600 cartoons for them.
Holy
So, he's why those cartoons look like that, even now. A lot of people are still aping his style.
Yeah.
But he didn't actually start publishing children's books until he was 61 years old.
Okay.
So that's the thing. My mom is a children's librarian, so I grew up with a lot of William Steig books. But my mom was always like, yeah, Shrek, as far as his books go, it's not very good. And she was right.
Yeah.
And the other thing, too, is that William Steig had some other hits. His first big hit was Sylvester and the Magic Pebble in 1970.
This is the one I know.
There's a donkey, and he finds this magic pebble.
Donkey.
And the magic pebble is like, hey, I'll give you whatever you want. A lion shows up, and he's like, oh, shit, I want to become a rock. And then he has to figure out how to turn back into a donkey. This one ended up receiving the Caldecott Medal, which is the highest award in illustration for children's picture books.
Oh, wow.
And he followed that up in 1982, 12 years later. I mean, there were books in between then, but the other sort of big hit he had was called Dr. DeSoto. And that actually received a Newbery Honor, which is a runner-up for the Newbery Medal, which is the highest award in children's storytelling. It actually won the honor for the story as opposed to the illustration.
Specifically not the pictures. We didn't like the pictures.
That's right.
So when Shrek comes around, he's finally going to win it for both, right?
That's right.
For both storytelling and illustration.
I brought in some of the actual pages from Shrek, and we are going to read them for you right now.
His mother was ugly and his father was ugly, but Shrek was uglier than the two of them put together. By the time he toddled, Shrek could spit flame a full 99 yards and vent smoke from either ear. With just a look, he cowed the reptiles in the swamp. Any snake dumb enough to bite him instantly got convulsions and died.
One day, Shrek's parents hissed things over and decided it was about time their little darling was out in the world doing his share of damage. So they kicked him goodbye, and Shrek left the black hole in which he'd been hatched.
Shrek went slogging along the road, giving off his awful fumes. It delighted him to see the flowers bend aside and the trees lean away to let him go by.
In a shady copse, he came across a witch. She was busy boiling bats and turpentine and turtle juice, and as she stirred, she crooned, "This is the way I cook my bats, stir my bats, taste my bats, season my bats in the morning, stew and brew and chew my bats, diddle and fiddle and faddle my bats early in the morning."
The diddle and fiddle and faddle really got me. And I actually was watching just a YouTube video of a lady reading the book. Does that for kids videos or whatever. And she paused before she said the word diddle, as if she was like, wait, is that correct?
Can I say that?
she was like, stew and brew and chew my bats, diddle and fiddle and rattle my bats. It totally threw off.
Well, this next bit is a little more from the witch.
Tell my fortune, madam, and I'll let you have a few of my rare lice.
Ooh.
Splendid, crowed the witch. Here's your fortune. Atchki patchki itchki pitch. Pay attention to this witch. A donkey takes you to a knight. Him you conquer in a fight. Then you wed a princess who is even uglier than you. Ha 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 and cockadoodle, the magic words are apple strudel.
Sometimes you need a rhyme.
A princess, Shrek cried. I'm on my way.
So Shrek moves on. He steals a dinner from a peasant. Thunder and lightning show up as personified characters after it begins raining on Shrek's, and I am not joking, this is a direct quote from the book, his hot knob.
Yes,
Yeah.
he has a goiter on the top of his head.
I wrote that
believe
down.
that
I
it
wrote
says
down.
hot
I
knob.
wrote down that the book says hot knob.
He
Not good.
also has laser eyes. I think maybe
Yes.
we've
Yeah.
skipped over the fact that he can shoot lasers.
Laser eyes and fire breathing.
He's got a lot of powers and he faces no adversity in this
Right.
book.
No. Shrek wandered on. He was wondering if he'd ever meet his princess when he saw a donkey grazing. Was this the donkey the witch had foretold? Shrek hurried over and tried the magic words. Apple strudel. The donkey raised his sleepy eyes and brayed, I gaze in the green, as I graze in the green, seeking out the clover. I laze and spend my days in the green, a chewing, chomping rover.
I noticed you decided to do a Mike Myers impression, but not an Eddie Murphy.
What's that all about?
Okay, so here's the thing. In Shrek Retold, which is a completely reanimated version of Shrek, it's a lot of white guys
it sure
doing
is.
an Eddie Murphy voice.
It sure is.
So something you might not know is that for Shrek itself, there is a lot of doubling for Eddie Murphy's voice, not just for the singing, which is weird because he was a musician for a while, but the guy who does his voice in like all the video games and everything, Mark Mosley, who also does Mushu in Kingdom Hearts and everything, he also doubles a lot of the dialogue in Shrek because apparently Eddie Murphy was a little difficult to work with. He had a home studio and sometimes just like recorded what he wanted to instead of what they needed. And Mark Mosley has made an entire career out of being Eddie Murphy's vocal double. Cracker. 100%
Yeah, no,
white.
very much a white man.
How do we feel about the donkey in this book? Are we compelled by him?
He's just kind of a donkey.
Yeah, well, I mean, he's only shows up for like 2 pages, right?
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
He just is a ride. He's the Uber to the castle.
Donkey is a protagonist of the first movie and its many sequels, and he's just here for 2 pages.
And then he finally sees his princess. He strode on in and his fat lips fell open. There before him was the most stunningly ugly princess on the surface of the planet. Apple strudel, Shrek sighed. Cock-a-doodle, cooed the princess. Said Shrek, your horny warts, your rosy wens like slimy bogs and fusty fens thrill me. Said the princess, your lumpy nose, your pointy head, your wicked eyes, so livid red, just kill me.
I get it. Like, what he's tapping into here is a very kid thing of just like, what if we made the grossest thing imaginable?
Kids do think that's hilarious.
Yeah. And this is a point where this was like at its peak, I want to say. Like we had the Stinky Cheese Man and just like all of these twisted fairy tales. You had the old fractured fairy tales that the boomers grew up with and everything. So we were just like, and grossness was big in the 90s.
Said Shrek, oh, ghastly you with lips of blue, your ruddy eyes with carmine styes enchant me. I could go on. I know you know the reason why I love you. You're ugly. Yeah, they're being married by an alligator in a robe. I assume that's the Christian Bible. I don't know.
Shrek still follows the Holy Scriptures.
So they got hitched as soon as possible, and they lived horribly ever after, scaring the socks off all who fell afoul of them. Yeah, there's not really much of a story arc. Like you said, he kind of just gets everything he wants and is happy the whole time and is delighted by repulsing people, which I don't know is a great message. There's something to be said for self-acceptance, but when you're like, everybody hates me and is afraid of me, awesome.
Yeah.
I just don't know what the point is, really.
Yeah, I think that like the building blocks of the book, there's something there in that, what if you had a protagonist that everybody hated? That was just like the worst guy. And then how do you make that relatable and likable, I think is an interesting challenge, particularly when the original casting for this was Chris Farley. He would be able to take someone that was gross and then make you love him. Like, I understand the impulse to like make this into a Chris Farley vehicle. The character designs are unique, and I'm sure a lot of these guys grew up seeing Steig's work everywhere, especially like they read The New Yorker.
Yeah, I think this is like playing into an old style of this sort of humor, which includes Steig and includes Charles Adams, right, who was also a New Yorker cartoonist who created his titular family, or Edward Gorey. And you can even look at like the underground comic scene at this point in time and how, you know, you had people like Art Spiegelman and others making the Garbage Pail Kids. There's sort of a Mad Magazine aspect to it. But there's just kind of nothing here.
Yeah, what do you even grab onto, you know?
Like, there are other grosser stories from this same period of time that just, like, have something going on.
Can I make a lore observation here about this book?
Please.
Is that they never once say that Shrek is an ogre.
Oh, yeah.
Like, he's just a guy, as far as we know.
Just a really shitty guy.
He's a green man. Perhaps human man.
It really does feel like the big thing that they took away from this is just character design and not much else.
Yeah, because that does not look like Fiona. Honestly, the biggest mistake in the movie is they did not include this alligator pastor in any
he's
form.
Cool. I like him a lot.
I really dig this guy's vibe, especially the fact that he's brought Christianity to the world of far, far away.
He's actually a member of the Universal Life Church.
Oh, no! We got
sort
it,
of a non-denominational.
Fuck!
Yeah.
Damn it.
Ecumenical thing.
So let's dig right into the main event here. The film, Shrek. This movie begins with an opening vanity card for DreamWorks. And wouldn't you know it, The S in SKG, which of course stands for Shrek Guys.
Yeah.
The S has the little ears on it. Oh my God. And we get this beautifully rendered 3D book. The book opens.
Just like in any classic Disney movie.
And a narrator begins reading.
Once upon a time, there was a lovely princess. But she had an enchantment upon her of a fearful sort, which could only be broken by love's first kiss. She was locked away in a castle, guarded by a terrible fire-breathing dragon. Many brave knights had attempted to free her from this dreadful prison, but none prevailed. She waited in the dragon's keep, in the highest room of the tallest tower, for her true love and true love's first kiss. Like that's ever gonna happen. Oh, Lord.
It literally gives me chills. It's so exciting when that song starts. I love movies that are edited to music really well. Like, that's enough to make me love the movie, even if it's, like, not that good. Like, I remember really liking Baby Driver for that reason.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, if you just set good music to the perfect moments and you're, like, editing to the cut to the music, I'm like, I love it. I don't even care.
It's such an overused song from this era. But one of the stories goes that this was just placeholder. And it was there for a test audience screening, and the audience just loved it so much they decided that they were going to keep it.
Yeah.
Which kind of makes sense because it was first featured in Mystery Men. The music video for this song has Ben Stiller and the cast of Mystery Men in it. It's also in like Rat Race, like it's everywhere. This song is in every single movie it's in the Digimon movie. Is it really? Yes. So it's also right here in Shrek, opening it up. And they, of course, like it plays so well that Smash Mouth then also records a cover for the end of the movie as well.
This is such a direct subversion of Disney tropes.
He literally wipes his ass with the opening storybook.
It is framing up this idea of, this is not going to be your grandpa's fractured fairy tale. And yet, there is so much of the construction of this narrative that just ends up being the way that fairy tales have always been done, but a little bit irreverently.
Imagine you're going on a quest and then you're like, oh shit, this is working out exactly the same way it did on my toilet paper. That would give me a crisis.
In my research, I came across a book by Christina Bakalega, who is a professor emeritus at U Hawaii. Mm-hmm. And the book is called Fairy Tales Transformed 21st Century Adaptations in the Politics of Wonder. I just wanted to read this quote here. Rather than discarding the authority of the Disney-fied storybook on screen, these films find their new source of entertainment and authority by offering a carnival mirror image of it, a magnified and distorted view of it from within. Audiences in our contemporary visual culture no longer need the magic images to lift off the pages of the storybook, but we as spectators are still held captive to their enchantment and are unequivocally positioned to identify with the desire for magic and a happy ending in the fairy tale story world, however humorously they are presented.
Yeah.
It's just doing the same thing over again. But I feel like for people of, I guess, our generation broadly, Shrek is such a fundamental text for our understanding of what a fairy tale even is, that this subversion isn't even so much recognizable as it is a new trope.
To the point where everyone has to subvert Shrek, right? Part of the whole relationship that anyone has with Shrek, and we can see that, Mem, in your itch.io Shrek games video. Oh, God. It's like people have taken this and drawn it out to these bizarre, absurd extremes.
He's just become such an iconic character. It's one of those things where, like, for some reason it's funny just that Shrek is there.
Mm-hmm. He's been behind you this whole time.
And I don't know. No, I don't know if I can really explain why. It's just, I don't know. He's ever present.
Like, what do people tap into with this stuff when they're bringing Shrek in? Is the point of Shrek just being there enough, or are they trying to do more?
It might just be kind of what we were talking about the book, where like he's kind of a subversive type of character because he's the protagonist, but he's like gross and repulsive and likes it. So it might be partly that, and also just that he's just so recognizable. I can't even really explain it. Something becomes funny just by like putting a PNG of Shrek on it. There's like no, That's all you need to do.
In a way that you put Mickey Mouse on it, it doesn't achieve the same effect.
No. Yeah.
And with Shrek, too, it's like the weirder and more distorted and low quality the image is, the funnier it is as a meme. Yeah. Because it's like degrading the representation one notch further. And for some reason, I don't know, maybe it's just the whole thing of like Shrek existing as something that wants to distort the original image. And then so you distort the image of him until it's not recognizable anymore. I don't know.
One of the big inflection points for this was the whole Shrek is love, Shrek is life thing. We talked about a little bit of that in the Barkley Shut Up and Jam Gaiden episode of our show, where I think that some of it can be traced to certain online personalities and artists, these sort of like something awful goons and 4chaners and everything. But at this point, it's so I can think of like a couple of major examples. It's like Shrek being modded into every game. Similarly, Thomas, the tank engine being modded into every game. I don't know who else we have that's sort of like that, where it's like, yeah, it's just funny. It comes from some degree, I think, of disrespect towards Shrek. Like people feel like they're taking something that is kind of bad or kind of maybe it's good, but it's also kind of junk and schlock.
I think a lot about like why this particular movie has the staying power that it does. And I think a lot of interpretations of this movie go into it thinking this is a riff on Disney, right? This is a big middle finger to Disney. Fuck you. We are completely subverting your tropes.
Well, and it's not that.
Well, yeah, but I watched this movie and I'm like, this is a breakup movie. This is a movie that so loves Disney and what Disney quote unquote used to be.
Sure.
And trying to stake a new path forward for what animation can be now without the tyrannical rule of Michael Eisner. The thing that I think about a lot with the particularly the older Disney films, when we're thinking about like Snow White and Cinderella, is that there's an elegance about them. Like there's a silliness, certainly, but there is sort of a refined nature, right? We are telling these elevated fairy tales, and Shrek's like, yeah, but people fart in that world, and we're going to show them farting in that world.
That's so true.
It ends up being kind of it's a story about bigotry.
Right.
It starts to say that like not only are these like heightened, perfected ways of portraying something, not only are they stupid and gay, but like they're also fascist in nature. They are bigoted. They're like some people are never going to fit into the mold that Cinderella can fit into. She has two ugly stepsisters. The ugliness is their main sin.
Right.
And here we have a guy who is unapologetically himself. Unlike the book, though, there's a lot of pain behind that and a lot of melancholy in that.
Right.
Like, because Steig's book's like not even an inverted fairy tale. It's just sort of is a fairy tale where the main character is nasty and smells
here's a
super
guy
horrible.
who sucks. Hope you hate him.
And Steig's book is written in this very American register, right? The Scottish accent thing came about because of Mike Myers fucking around with the voice. It wasn't even the initial voice he brought to the table.
Right.
If it was Chris Farley, it would have just been an American accent. Steig's register specifically is kind of written in this sort of like country. Like I can hear my own grandfather's voice on that, like on the last page, like, so they got hitched. It's that kind of a thing where this is like, okay, we're going to take that framework of like this sort of inverted, you know, the gross guy gets everything he wants, which is to be as gross as possible story, and then put it into a framework of like, hey, you know, these Disney Renaissance movies that you've all been watching and loving that I, Jeffrey Katzenberg, have produced. Here's me doing it again, but with a gross dude.
To the point of, I guess, fascist encroachment on this world, there's a group of humans that come up from the nearby town into Shrek's swamp. They attempt to vanquish Shrek. He scares them off.
They have all these rumors about how awful he is and what parts of them he eats and so forth. And he's like, yeah, sure, I eat all your organs. And then he screams.
Because it turns out that there is a bounty not only on Shrek, but on all of the fairy tale creatures. And this is resulting in a program of kidnapping and forced displacement. I think I had forgotten just how wild this movie was right up front to bring forcible transfer and genocide into the world.
They use the words resettlement facility.
Right.
Yes, they sure do. I think he's talking about the Disney Vault here.
Sure.
I think it is putting all of these characters that have built their empire and locking them away somewhere else so that this megalomaniacal man can like lead his way.
And also sort of caging them up, right? They're folkloric characters that exist in the public domain. and Disney is like claiming ownership of Snow White.
Right.
And beyond Jeffrey Katzenberg, it's also Terry Rossio and Ted Elliott, who were Disney writers and then went back to Disney after this. So we have these people who co-wrote Aladdin, working on this movie, and then would later do Treasure Planet and make a shit ton of money for Disney with the Pirates movies. They also worked in video games briefly in a certain Steven Spielberg game.
It's the pig.
Called Steven Spielberg's Director's Chair.
Oh.
A game all about apostrophes, apparently.
I'm curious, though, Mem, like, when was the last time you had watched Shrek before this? Had it been a bit?
No, I find myself watching Shrek all the time, to be quite honest with you.
Okay.
I'll just walk by a TV and it's on.
How does all of a sudden being hit with the specter of genocide, maybe 10 minutes into this movie, how does that hit you?
It certainly hits different now. I think that's one of those things that as a kid, it just goes over your head and you gloss over it. And then even as I would rewatch it, like in college especially, I would rewatch a lot of like movies from when I was a kid for like comfort reasons. I just like put it on the background. So Shrek was one of them. And then I think you get so used to how you watch it as a kid that you continue to gloss over it. But like this time I was like fully paying attention to the words and I was like, wow, if this was released in 2026, I think that line would have some punch to it.
They'd handle it differently because they'd have to stake a position on it. Here,
That's true.
It's just like, it's like a dead baby joke, basically, right? It's like, I mean, the level of darkness that these jokes go to where like they do family separation on the Three Bears. Geppetto sells Pinocchio. Geppetto himself just carries his son to this table and is like, give me money. I think these are some of the most successful jokes in the movie, though.
The baby bear saying this cage is too small, for example. Like, it's a really bleak.
One of the characters who we meet, one of the characters who's being sold here is, of course, a talking donkey.
Donkey!
And he's pursued then by the royal guards who run into Shrek at the border of his swamp.
Why are you following me?
I'll tell you why. 'Cause I'm all alone. There's no one here beside me. My problems have all gone. There's no one to deride me. But you gotta have friends.
Stop singing! Well, it's no wonder you don't have any friends.
Wow. Only a true friend would be that truly honest.
Listen, little donkey. Take a look at me. What am I?
Really tall?
No! I'm an ogre. You know, grab your torch and pitchforks. Doesn't that bother you?
Nope.
Really?
Really.
This is a period of time where like the annoying sidekick is something that every family movie needs. And some of them get it right, but if you don't get it right, you get it extremely wrong. And it is horrible.
I would say he's pretty charming. I think that that trope has really degraded over time.
Yeah.
To the point where it can just be a non-talking animal that's making annoying sounds the whole time, which I despise.
He's sort of riffing on what he did with Mushu a few years before.
Yeah.
Right.
It's very similar to Mushu. I did think about that. I'm like,
well, and I think that this is an outgrowth of like getting Robin Williams for Aladdin. Where Robin Williams was just like riffing and riffing and riffing and riffing and riffing.
That's the thing that jumps out at me watching this is like a lot of Donkey's dialogue, the lines as written aren't really very funny. It's just that Eddie Murphy himself is just bringing his whole self to the thing, you know?
Yeah, he can really sell it. And I think that's the difference between a movie like Shrek and other DreamWorks pictures where they hire famous people to do the voices, but they are also good voice actors.
Yeah.
Right?
You don't have people just doing their own voice. You have people doing cartoon voice work. They're just all pretty famous.
Shrek ends up allowing Donkey to stick around because Donkey's whole thing is like, well, we can be freaks together.
Shrek realizes, hey, he's not a bigot. Like, he's annoying, but like, he's not going to try and kill me because he thinks that I'm going to drink human livers or whatever.
I know they have like a little heartwarming moment. Shrek's like, oh, you don't care about that? And then they like look into each other's eyes and he's like touched.
And that's kind of the emotional core of this movie is just how these two outsiders have found each other. It seems like that's what the movie hangs its emotional baggage on.
That's also true of the musical. And one of the things I actually like about the musical is that it drills deeper into Shrek's own, I wouldn't say trauma necessarily, but like it digs into what being shunned like this can do to a person. What I like about the movie is that it doesn't shy away from making him awful.
He's purely selfish.
He's gross in a cool way, but he is a selfish guy at the start so that he has somewhere to go to.
Mem, you said you watched the first 15 minutes of the musical, right? That was as far as you could get?
Years ago, and I found it completely insufferable. I just
I agree.
But he busts out of the outhouse. He fully punches his way out.
Yeah, where's the Smash Mouth song, AJ?
Yes, that's the thing. No, here's my thing. The whole appeal of Shrek is the use of like modern pop music in it. And at least, again, this is like probably 5 years ago that I watched the first 15 minutes that I'm recalling. But it was like very... It seemed like very regular musical music to me, like a kid's play. And I was like, this, first of all, you completely lose the vibe of the music, which, like I was saying before, is probably like 90% of the reason that I enjoy the Shrek movies is that it's edited to good music. And it just wasn't as funny. It wasn't as interesting. I could not get into it. It wasn't even like, and I love bad media when it's like bad in a funny way or an interesting way.
That's the thing about Shrek the musical is that I don't think it's bad. I think it's just very mid. There's nothing really to grab onto until the end of Act 1, and that's a long time to ask audiences to wait around.
Yeah,
you know?
I like to say in general, I don't really categorize media as good or bad in my mind. It's just like whether it's interesting or boring, and I just found the musical so boring that I couldn't.
Yes.
I was like, I know exactly what the rest of this is going to be, and none of the jokes are hitting, and it's just not. I don't care.
At this point in the movie, Shrek has realized that he's not alone in the swamp. In fact, there's a ton of other fairy tale creatures who are now encamped there.
All right, get out of here. All of you, move it. Come on, let's go. Hapaya.
Hey, don't look at me. I didn't invite them.
Oh, gosh, no one invited us.
What?
We were forced to come here.
By who?
Lord Farquaad. He hoofed and he puffed and he signed an eviction notice.
Shrek's home has become a resettlement camp.
This is some 2001 ass animation for sure.
I really like the character designs in Shrek. This is actually something that I wrote down that I liked about the movies, is that for some reason, even though it is older animation and it's a little bit stiff because of that, well, and they're like, for the humans, they're like realistic proportions. They're not like that cartoony. And somehow it doesn't come off in like a Polar Express uncanny kind of way.
Oh, yeah.
There's something like there's something about the way they move. It's very different from the Pixar characters, I feel. There's like this kind of like smoothness to their movement. I don't know. I can't explain it, but it's like
I know what you mean, though.
You can just see a human animated in that way and be like, that's the Shrek style for whatever reason. And I just think it works really well. Like I said, I'm like, I buy into it. It's like the perfect balance, I feel, of like realistic and cartoony to where it doesn't feel weird.
I have problems with a lot of the faces of the humanoid characters.
Really?
There are times where maybe it's the facial animations. I don't know. But with that said, the non-humanoid characters, there's so much distinction that is brought to the table here. And I think there's a reason that Shrek was like immediately iconic. They were clearly adapting the character from the original book and then also trying to retool him into something that could be like merchandisable and profitable.
Right. Yeah, he's not ugly. Shrek isn't ugly.
He's not.
He's ugly in the world of the story, but like he's cute, inoffensive to look at. He's not like Steig's version of him.
It wouldn't have worked if they made him actually ugly. Like, have you guys seen the test animation?
Yeah. The old J.J. Abrams, Chris Farley one. It just looks disgusting.
Looks crazy.
Does he look more like the book? I don't think I have seen it.
No, he does not.
Oh my God, you gotta see it. It was only like a few years ago that it was like released on YouTube. The animation is very bizarre. They apparently did it with actual like motion captured actors instead of cartoon animation. So he's like moving bizarrely realistically as he's like dancing down the street. Shrek's design is just crazy. Like, you want to be subversive and like make an ugly main guy, but it simply wouldn't have worked if they actually made him look like that. I don't think.
I am watching this now. This is
Yeah.
Horrible.
It's rough and it's weird because for the close-ups, it's like this kind of low-quality, ugly animation of his face, and then it zooms out and it's like a real man walking down the street.
Right.
It's the Beowulf
Shrek
effect.
is just a shitty guy. It never says he's an ogre.
Now, the video games. I feel like this is a decent time to do a quick sidebar into the way that some of these characters are portrayed in the video games, because we played Shrek Super Party.
We sure did.
All of those characters have huge heads.
More like Shrek subpar T.
Damn.
That game was subpar.
God, finally someone's brave enough to say it.
Incomprehensible, that game.
Yes.
Every new minigame, it was like, are there buttons involved? You'll figure it out.
Yeah, every minigame is described in the most like bizarrely written text. You only get text. You don't get a picture. You don't get a demo practice run. And it's like a paragraph, and the grammar is really bizarre in some of them.
Yeah.
Like, I think I spent half of my playtime when I streamed it just like staring at the words, trying to figure out what the hell they were even trying to get me to do.
Yeah, the bugs in particular. Like, how many points a bug is worth, and which bug you can like
economy
mix with other bug. I'm just like, I feel like I'm at school.
Yeah, they're like, every round you can trade bugs with other characters, but only characters with a point value less than or equal to the square root.
That's right.
And you don't keep the bugs. The bugs are then just counted into a score. So every round it's random bugs.
They're converted into bug juice, which is your main currency.
Precious drops.
Good bug juice.
Precious drops.
Precious drops of bug juice.
I went to the swamp that sucks.
It's almost got a Mario Party thing going on where there's like supposedly a board that you're moving on.
Right.
But the views that you see are always just right up on your character. You don't get a full view of what the board looks like or where you are or how far you are. Like, you're rolling numbers to move numbers of spaces, but you're like, no idea what that even means.
What is a space? Like, they don't define what a space is.
No.
And what's weird about the game, too, is like its visual style with these characters. Like, yes, these are clearly taken from reference images that were sent to the studio by DreamWorks, but it doesn't look right. And that's the way that a lot of these early Shrek games and a lot of just licensed games in general are. But I feel like this is something that contributes to the overall thing that Shrek is. Like, the fact that these models and characters get degraded in translation, that's part of what people find so fascinating about Shrek more broadly.
Just before this episode, I was watching you, Mem, playing Shrek 2, the game, where Shrek has this weird attack combo where you hear like a regular punch sound, and then he like punches downward, and then you hear like a bomb go off. Why is that sound in here? Where did it come? There's no music in like Shrek 1 or Shrek 2, the game.
No, it's eerily silent.
That might have been a glitch from, you know, the way that I was 100% legally playing the games on my computer.
Well, I can say for Shrek 1, which we were playing on the Xbox with a legal
it also
copy
had
of
no
it.
Music?
No
music would kind of just stop and then it wouldn't come back.
The first game, though, so first of all, there's two different versions of the first game.
Yep.
First of all, there's like 75 Shrek video games. I've thought before about doing a video where I play every Shrek game, and then I looked at the list on Wikipedia.
Yeah, that would be
and
like 10 hours long. There's no way.
I actually can't. And a bunch of them were released for like this bizarre like cable TV service. I can't even get into it. There was it's like a Europe only satellite TV service that also would have games on it that were streaming to you from the satellite. I assume you would be controlling it with the TV remote. I don't know. But it only existed, you know, it was canceled in like the early 2000s or something. But there's like 20 different Shrek games on it for some reason.
And it's the classic licensed game story. This is why we just don't really get these days, because like the overall baseline cost of making a major game that would be for store shelves or the digital equivalent, it's just so much higher now. Back then, you could force a team to do like 5 months on a project, give them basically nothing, and they could release it for like the Nintendo DS or the Game Boy or something like that. Something really, really cheap that barely holds together, but it's enough to get on store shelves so that a clueless grandparent can buy it for their horrible grandchild.
The Asylum Studios of gaming. Yes.
And that market is basically dead. A lot of people were able to feed their families for a time and then get totally burned out making Cory in the House games.
Right.
I mean, the genre of like movie games, licensed games, just kind of like destroyed itself because now it's seen as such low quality because of the way that they would do it. I mean, like Shrek Super Party is a prime example of how you can easily tell that the team had not seen the movie. They had not seen the script. They were sent like pictures of the characters and some locations and just like
even
made
though
everything
they
up.
had some of the actual voice actors who were also storyboard artists for the movie.
Crazy.
Like the Magic Mirror does all the games and Pinocchio does all the games. Those are both storyboard artists who were like co-writers of the original.
It's not as if they would have been talking to the developers of the game outside
they're
the
being
context
called
of
in
the voice
for a
work they're
session
turning
to
in.
record some stuff and then they go home. Yeah.
And one of those characters, one of those, I guess, breakout characters from Shrek Super Party is, of course, Thelonious.
From the game, yes.
The executioner assistant
Yeah.
to Lord Farquaad. So at this point in Shrek, the movie, we cut to a dungeon, and there's a small gingerbread man who's being dunked into a glass of milk.
Gingerbread man.
Sorry,
let's
the
say.
gingerbread man.
Ginger.
He's being physically tortured.
That's right.
Yeah.
By Thelonious. Lord Farquaad, who is our villain in this movie, he comes in and begins to interrogate the gingerbread man.
Run, run, run as fast as you can. You can't catch me. I'm the gingerbread man.
You're a monster.
I'm not the monster here. You are. You and the rest of that fairy tale trash poisoning my perfect world. Now tell me, where are the others?
Eat me.
I've tried to be fair to you creatures. Now my patience has reached its end. Tell me, or I'll...
No, not the buttons. Not my gumdrop buttons.
All right then, who's hiding them?
Okay, I'll tell you. Do you know the Muffin Man?
The Muffin Man?
The Muffin Man.
Yes, I know the Muffin Man. Who lives on Drury Lane?
Well, she's married to the Muffin Man.
The Muffin Man?
The Muffin Man!
She's married to the Muffin Man. My lord!
This scene, I remember the old days of elementary school, being on the playground recess. We knew this entire scene. There were a few scenes from Shrek specifically that we could just quote from beginning to end, and this was the number one of those scenes. I think this might, in fact, be one of the most influential comedy scenes of the last 40 years.
I think that is unironically true. Yes.
11-year-old AJ thought this was the funniest shit he had ever seen in his life.
Yeah.
And I remember seeing this movie. I have a very visceral remember of watching this movie with my parents in Edwards Cinemas in Vista, California. And my dad laughing his ass off at this scene, and also when Shrek goes, "Is there anyone else?"
My dad's favorite is pick number 3, my lord.
Thelonious is an icon. Look.
Thelonious, man. I didn't even know his name before I played Shrek Super Party, and then when I watched the movie again, I was like, that's the guy.
That's my guy, Thelonious.
That's Thelonious.
Him drowning the fucking, because he's a cookie, and he's being drowned in milk.
This is a pre 9/11 movie that, again, to the point of like choices that I don't think they would have made if this movie were made even a year later. You would not have this scene in here like this.
Yeah.
Because the cultural perception of it is different. Here, we're doing medieval torture.
Right.
Like you'd see in the Victorian museums all about the Inquisition where they made up, a bunch of bullshit like Iron Maidens and whatever. We're putting him on the rack. We're dunking him in milk, cracking his legs off and dangling them in front of him.
It's different when we're actually on the way to the Dark Ages again.
And we're the ones doing it.
Yeah. Well, and it's catchy, right? Because it's just like the nursery rhyme.
Well, and it's John Lithgow, and like his delivery is so good. And of Conrad Vernon, again, Shrek storyboard artist, as Gingy. Like the whole thing it's so musical. It sings.
Yeah.
Here's what I'll say. I'll forgive John Lithgow for the poetry because this performance is so good. I will not, however, forgive him for Dumbledore or this Roald Dahl play that he's doing.
Right.
A couple things worth noting about Farquaad, the character.
Yes.
I never caught this as a kid. Someone had to explain to me that Farquaad, of course, sounds like fuckwad.
It sure does.
It does.
That's like, I feel like Jeffrey Katzenberg is like, you have to call him fuckwad. You have to do it. Don't do it or I'll kill you and your family.
I make him shorter than me.
And this is another thing I didn't understand. I still don't totally see it, but his face is modeled on Michael Eisner.
I don't really see it either. I saw a post where somebody was comparing them, and I'm like, And his famous bob haircut.
Yes, of course.
Right. Like the hair is just because every man in these games has a bob.
Like a Prince Valiant.
Like they all,
right.
It's like the standard
Michael Eisner's
thing.
got no hair in these pictures I'm seeing.
No, he's kind of bald. Yeah.
Yeah. That is a weird thing that like DreamWorks just gives everybody a bob in these. I guess it's kind of like shorthand for medieval.
Well, it's also easier hair to animate, I think.
Oh,
because it's pretty uniform.
It is. This is something I understand as a Bob Haver, is I can always have my hairstyle in a video game because you don't have to animate the physics of it if it's short enough.
Is that why you started with the bob in the first place? Was that it would be easier to put you in a video game?
Yeah, I wanted to be represented
Got it.
wherever I go in the virtual world. But yeah, once the hair gets past the shoulders, they have to deal with the hair colliding with the shoulders and the clothes.
They never do a good job with it.
You just
either.
make it a bob. You make it stiff as fuck. Whatever your character is doing, it's just hair sprayed directly into place.
Yeah, it's also why Fiona has the long ponytail too, right? Because it can gather it all together, not dealing with like individual strands.
But either way, all the hair in this movie looks like a wig. It's all too shiny. It all looks like it's plastic. I think that
its fur though is really quite something.
Yeah, it is.
A lot of that
interesting.
does go back though to the limitations of animation technology at the time, like hair, fur, stuff like
There's
that.
a reason Pixar was mostly centering plastic toys and bugs as their main characters. That's why Shrek is bald. It's like we're just going to avoid these troublesome topics until we can figure out how to do it better. But another aspect of Farquaad's design is that he is very, very short.
Yes.
Michael Eisner is not short.
No, he's quite tall, isn't he?
Yes, but he very famously, in fact, using a slur, referred to Jeffrey Katzenberg's height derisively because Jeffrey Katzenberg is short. So that just feels like kind of a confused thing where he's like, well, he thinks I'm short. I'll make him shorter than everyone.
I'll show him.
Yeah, it's also a great misdirect if he tries to sue them, I guess, for libel. He's just like, no, hey, no.
Since when were you 3 feet tall?
Yeah, exactly.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I mean, come on, he looks nothing like you, only kind of.
In order to be the king, you have to marry a princess. Therefore, you can pick from one of these three. And we have a
don't think about it too much. We're just going to do a
whatever.
70s game show parody.
And then we have a non-copyright infringing version of Snow White, as well as, of course, our princess, Princess Fiona, who he is going to try to pursue.
Big Rupert Holmes fan.
Meanwhile, Shrek and Donkey make it to Duloc, which is the kingdom that Farquaad rules over. It is styled like, dare I say it, a certain magical kingdom that you might be familiar with.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's got like costumed characters walking about. It's got a big parking lot, and all around it is fields of agriculture. Not orange trees, but like corn or something.
Who would drop down this horrible slice of modernity into this pastoral landscape? Well, of course, it is Lord Farquaad himself. And not only has he done this, he's set up this little info box with little wooden animatronics that sing a song about what the town's deal is.
Welcome to Duloc, such a perfect town. Here we have some rules, let us lay them down. Go make waves, stay in line, and we'll get along fine. Duloc is a perfect place. Please keep up on the grass, shine your shoes, wipe your...
And then they say face instead
You
of
thought they
ass.
were going to say ass, but they said face.
Son of a gun. You thought I was going to say son of a bitch, didn't you?
This isn't like your typical children's movie. This has a bit more of an edgy sense of humor to it, folks.
This was 11-year-old AJ's kryptonite. This was the funniest thing I'd ever seen, perhaps in my entire life.
For a little quote here, crude or profane language, : for some families, this will be the troll lurking underneath the bridge. There are about 10 instances of crude slang or mild profanity.
Oh my.
With a striking resemblance to Disneyland's It's a Small World exhibit, a cast of toys performs a song that leads up to the phrase, wipe your paws, though the toys actually break the rhyme structure by singing face. The real rhyme is assumed to be a ... demonstrated by the toys bending over and turning their posteriors towards the audience.
Oh my.
They say ass at so many other points in the movie, too.
Yeah,
right? They're all
we
referring to
mentioned the
Donkey,
mild
but-
profanity.
Yeah, no.
Adults and teens will pick up several subtle lines
You gotta stop reading the
about
plugged-in review.
physical relationships and penis size. There is a comment that Snow White wasn't, quote, easy, even though she lived with 7 little men.
Wow.
So that's the focus on the family review of Shrek when it first came out in theaters.
No mention of Farquaad's boner.
No
mention of the boner.
That's legitimately insane that that's in the movie.
Yes.
100% real. and very insane.
I do like that the Farquaad logo seems to predict Facebook in like a
That's what I think every time.
Yeah. Duloc is named after the place that Lancelot is from. Okay. Except he's Lancelot du Loc, so he's from Loc. They've just like combined from and Loc there for the name. But Shrek would never debase itself as a property with garish theme park attractions.
No. Were you ever like big into Disney? Were you like a huge Disney head at any point? Or
Were you like a child Disney adult?
There's got to be a name for that.
A Disney child? I think that's just a child, actually.
That can't be right.
Not Disney specifically. No, I don't quite understand the appeal of Disney specifically for a lot of people.
Well, they can't make anything as good as Encino Man.
Because like this is trying to be like, well, that bubble, that fun little world, well, fuck you. And
there's a dark side to it.
But it's so weird now because I feel like this is something that genuinely back in 2001 came across as somewhat provocative and edgy, and now it just feels completely animated.
Because Shrek wasn't in amusement parks. It was a single movie that had just come out. It wasn't a property. You know, it certainly wasn't in amusement parks that were in the Gulf states.
Right.
Yeah, it seemed like it was a property that found itself on the inside. Even the fact that it's like, oh, we're thumbing our nose at the big boys is true, but it's because they're founding their own powerhouse studio and they had the money to do so.
In the back half of this episode, we're going to talk about the way that Shrek's narrative sort of anchors around something, I guess, that makes it be such a durable piece of media. We're going to talk more about adaptation and try to get to the bottom of why people love Shrek so much. Will we succeed? I don't know. We'll find out. Stay tuned.
Good evening, I'm Billy Bush, and this is Access Hollywood with an exclusive interview with the one and only Shrek.
Yes, nice. Yeah, thank you. It's nice. Thanks for having. Yeah, thanks. Thanks for having me, William. It's nice to be here.
You're welcome, Shrek. Now, my first question is, you've been out of Hollywood for a while now. Why back now?
Thanks for asking me this question. I have a lot of thoughts around this. You remember my movie Shrek?
Who doesn't?
I wrote it and I directed it. Unfortunately, certain union rules led to other people being credited, but it was sort of a rocky situation for me, in both senses of the word, right?
You drank a lot of eggs.
Yeah. Yes. I had another autobiographical movie that came out around the exact same time. K-Pax.
Oh, yeah, big hit at the box office. Big hit. Took all the kids to see it.
It was not a big hit. It was a massive failure. And so
it was in the Bush household, I'll tell you.
The success that I was able to ride to the top of the food chain with Shrek immediately dissolved beneath me when the release of K-Pax happened. They fired me, as you well know, and then, of course, the rest of the Shrek movies were done by a Canadian imposter. I was getting my career back online in the mid-2010s. Then certain things happened to a lot of men in Hollywood at the end of 2017, and I got rolled up in that. I'm sure you can sympathize, William.
Oh, I'll say, I'm never getting on a bus again.
All I'm going to say is that it's really interesting, of course, that a man in Hollywood can say a few things and his career is over, but you never see that happen to women.
Name a woman, Shrek.
My lawyers have advised me not to.
Fair enough. So when you released that video of you in the kitchen talking directly into the camera, what was going through your mind?
That's another point of confusion. A lot of people, and I understand why we look very similar, but a lot of people get me confused with Kevin Spacey. A lot of them think that he is the star of K-Pax. I think it's just because of the K in the title. It was supposed to stand for Shrek. But I think a lot of people thought it stood for Kevin Spacey. And of course, that's another man who was unfairly maligned at the end of 2017 in a way that, again, no woman ever has been. And maybe we should start.
Shrek.
Maybe we should start getting a lot of these women out of Hollywood the same as we did to the men.
Shrek, you got funny ears. How?
How did I get my funny ears?
Yeah.
How did I get my funny ears?
Yeah.
There was a list of questions you weren't allowed to ask, Billy, whatever your name is.
My name is Wabilium.
Wabilium?
Wabilium Babush. This comeback that you're doing, tell us about your new film.
Well, my new film is a very personal project. It's called The Peanut Butter Falcon.
Oh.
Yeah, it's a shot-for-shot remake of the Shia LaBeouf movie, The Peanut Butter Falcon. I thought I could make it much better, and of course make it more relevant to the Shrek situation that's in the world today. Everyone's asking the question of what's going to happen to Shrek, and I'm going to answer them by saying I'm going to remake a Shia LaBeouf movie shot-for-shot, but better.
So you're not adding anything to it. It is a shot-for-shot remake.
I'm adding my talent to it.
I see.
I'm making it about Shrek by being Shrek in the movie.
You gonna throw a chocolate falcon in there to be like, you got your peanut butter falcon and my chocolate falcon?
Well, obviously you haven't seen the Peanut Butter Falcon because that is, of course, the climax of the Peanut Butter Falcon, is that we get a chocolate falcon in there.
I must have missed that in the Bush household. We were just too busy watching K-Pax. Shrek, why are you so handsome?
Well, it's because of peptides. I'm very good friends with Robert F. Kennedy Jr., and he always supplies me with new experimental peptides, various industrial dyes to ingest every morning at breakfast and every evening at third breakfast. I call that one Shrekfast. That's when you have breakfast for dinner in a Shrek-like way.
Don't condescend to me. So Shrek, thank you for sitting down with me today. We're going to throw over to Mario Lopez to ask Jennifer Lawrence. For all of us here at Access Hollywood, I'm Wabilium Babush.
Now that Shrek has made his way into Douglock, he's been tasked by Farquaad with going and saving Fiona, the princess. Yeah. He beats a bunch of guys up, Shrek does. It plays Joan Jett's bad reputation.
Again, everyone's just bigoted against him. The moment he shows up, it's like, oh, instead of being a contest between champions, it's all just about kill the ogre. But Shrek has some special abilities as an ogre. He has powerful ogre strength. He can belch fire.
He doesn't have laser eyes.
He does not have laser eyes. It's not like in the
books.
No.
He doesn't have that.
He is a professional wrestler.
He's a brawler.
I do have to wonder if on some level the screenwriters were channeling Melvin Van Peebles, who wrote sort of the original blaxploitation film Sweet Sweetback's Badass Song, which is all about a black man facing persecution, but sort of relying on the certain gifts that he has as a black man, certain stereotyped gifts, like apparently an incredible penis, in order to get the upper hand on the people who would otherwise oppress him. Here
From
we
some
have
of the art I've seen, I think Shrek very much has that.
No, come on.
It's not about Shrek's penis. It's about the plot.
You
it's
kind
about
of made
the
it
themes.
about Shrek's penis.
It's
though.
not.
I feel like you made it about
Shrek's
walked
penis.
us down that route there, Brian.
It's about Melvin Van Peebles'
route.
penis. Okay.
No.
With Shrek, it's his ogreific strength and his ability to produce flammable gases.
You know what I like to call it? I like to call it the greenest.
Speaking of Shrek's powers, though, there actually is.
I thought you were about to say, speaking of Shrek's penis.
Get your head out of the gutter.
That's just one of them. That's one of his powers, but I'm not getting into that.
Right.
That's a whole different episode. We'd have to get into that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You know, we've mentioned how in the movie, obviously, he doesn't have these powers that he has in the children's book of fire breathing and laser eyes. In the games, some of the games he does. And there is actually, I noticed this time when I watched the movie, there's kind of a reference to it. I don't know if they're referencing the Shrek lore, but at some point he burps onto a match and it makes it look like he's breathing fire.
Well, this is a mechanic in the original Shrek game for the Xbox, which we also played, where you eat a pepper and then you belch and you can breathe fire.
Yeah. And then if you eat a pepper and then fart and then hold the fart button, you'll shoot fire out of your asshole and launch ever so slightly into the air, but not like usefully. Like, I don't think it actually accomplishes anything. We didn't make it far in the game.
It does answer the question, what if Banjo-Kazooie was bad?
Oh, I thought Banjo-Kazooie answered that question.
Hey, let's go.
I will leap through this screen and I will throttle you.
These aren't mechanics that lend themselves well to a video game is the thing. And I think that's what's so strange about a lot of these. Or maybe they could. I don't know. Are burping and farting potentially good game mechanics?
Like the earwax, the earwax is unexplored. Like the ability to make a candle at any time from your ear could be a major video game mechanic. Like, what if it's like a deduction game, and then you have like dark rooms that you have to light?
Sure.
You know?
I think the burping and farting has got to stay. I think it was a mistake that they didn't make that a bigger part of the movie. I think you could, I mean, just imagine what he could do in Zero Gravity. That would kind of be like the two different.
We're sending Shrek to
two
space.
opposite thrusters.
Okay.
The first game was pretty good on the mechanics. I really liked that you could, again, we played different versions of it, but apparently they have the same mechanics but different levels, because I played like the GameCube one. But you're picking guys up, you're throwing them around, you're farting and shitting on them. I mean, what more do you need than that?
We're shitting too? We're bringing shit into this?
That was
I mean,
an
a little bit's
extrapolation.
got to come out.
But that, I mean, what do you think a fart is made of, right?
That's true.
That's a great point, and I never thought about it that way.
I also think that like farting underwater, that doesn't really get used in the games, but that's like the main use of the fart is that he's able to catch fish that way.
That's
so
right.
we could do like a crafting survival game.
In the first game, he's very much a jumper. He's very athletic.
He's
so
also
fast
jumping like
as
crazy.
fuck.
He's crazy fast.
Yeah.
He's too fast.
He's running
faster
60
than
miles
Sonic.
an
He
hour.
moves like Shadow the Hedgehog
It's
in
insane.
Shadow the Hedgehog.
Yeah, he becomes like uncontrollably fast. It's like
So I have a theory that the Shrek 1 game was initially supposed to be Shrek skateboarding through everything. And all of the levels were supposed to be
why he has that
Tony
level of
Hawk
momentum.
style levels where he just never stops moving and there's supposed to be a counter. And then some way through, they're like, no, for the official flagship game, he can't be on a skateboard. I have no way to confirm
That
this,
was a
but I believe
studio
it.
note?
Yeah. Like Jeffrey Katzenberg came in, he's like, "What the fuck are you putting him on? He needs to run around." That's what
and
he's
they only
famous
had
for.
time to remove the skateboard visually. They didn't have time to.
It's still in the code.
Have your regular ollie, but then you could have like the fart powered ollie.
Oh, sure.
What surprised me about going back to the movie was that there was very little, for the most part, actual action. So much of it is just these scenes where Donkey and Shrek talk to each other about their feelings. And I think this one right here is probably the most famous.
Ogres are like onions.
They stink?
Yes. No.
Oh, they make you cry?
No.
Oh, you leave them out in the sun, they get all brown, start sprouting little white hairs.
No. Layers. Onions have layers. Ogres have layers. Onions have layers. You get it. We both have layers.
Oh, you both have layers. Oh. You know, not everybody likes onions. Cake! Everybody loves cakes. Cakes have layers.
I don't care what everyone likes. Ogres are not like cakes.
You know what else everybody like? Parfaits. Have you ever met a person you say, hey, let's get some parfaits? They say, hell no, I don't like no parfaits. Parfaits are delicious.
No!
There's a big height difference between Donkey and Shrek. So when we're doing our over-the-shoulder conversation scenes, the Donkey shots are all low angle and the Shrek shots are all high angle. This means that your horizon is at the bottom of the screen or past the bottom of the screen or at the top of the screen or past the top of the screen, which means you don't have to render a whole lot of the world. You can render the ground and you can render the sky, which is pretty easy to do, and like a little bit of the corn growing around them and whatever. But like this is a very, very small play area. So it's very economical to just have these dialogue scenes between two characters where you see basically nothing.
They're even walking next to like a tall field of sunflowers or something, so you can't even see past that.
Yeah.
I wanted to point out in this clip, because it was so audible to me just now, and I also wrote this down when I watched the movie, is that Shrek's teeny tiny little leather vest squeaks every time he moves. And this is like probably the most noticeable scene where you can hear it. It's like they actually bothered to make, like when he bends over, you hear like this like leather squeak sound.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just thought that was funny that they bothered to do that.
The sound design is impeccable in this movie.
It speaks to a certain level of care and detail that they were wanting to put into this thing, because they really did want this to be their flagship, and they succeeded.
Yeah. And this, this doesn't have underscoring in this scene, so you have to emphasize these subtle things. It's just a conversation between two guys, two adult men in a children's movie about emotional complexity.
But they never explain what he means by ogres have layers, other than maybe like, you can infer that he means oh, I'm actually feeling deeper things on the inside than you would expect. But Donkey said, what is the script exactly? He says, give me an example. And Shrek says, ogres have layers, which is not what an example is. That's a metaphor. But then he doesn't expand on it at all.
And it's one of those things where I think that he's trying to obfuscate a little bit because he can't tell Donkey what he actually feels. Right. Because he's not willing to really confront that. There's a twist that comes a little bit later in the film that I think delves more into this. But I think that Shrek is miserable throughout this whole thing. And I think a lot of that comes from a world telling him that he's awful, and he has internalized that into self-hatred.
We got to do the road movie thing and just have a big, long montage of heading towards the castle.
Shrek knows that the princess is going to be in the highest tower because he learned that from the book that he was reading and then wiping his butt with at the beginning of the movie. The sequence in the castle, I'd kind of forgotten how long it was, you know? There's this whole thing with the bridge, and they have to get over the bridge.
There's really
and the bridge
not a
goes
whole
into
lot that happens in this movie. So we have to make each moment count to get up to 90 full minutes.
We find the dragon in the castle. Donkey begins a relationship with her, kind of. And
it's not exactly consensual at the beginning.
No, he's coerced.
Right.
Fearing for his life.
He's actually not into it.
Yeah.
In the first movie, he's not into it at all.
He is establishing boundaries.
And Shrek then finds Fiona up in the tower as promised.
Are you Princess Fiona?
I am. Awaiting a knight so bold as to rescue me.
Oh, that's nice. Now let's go.
But wait, Sir Knight. This beeth our first meeting. Should it not be a wonderful, romantic moment?
Yeah. Sorry, lady. There's no time.
Wait! What are you doing? You know, you should sweep me off my feet out yonder window and down a rope onto your valiant steed.
You've had a lot of time to plan this, haven't you?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she was waiting with flowers for True Love's kiss to awaken her, and he just sort of shakes her. That was in all the trailers back in the day.
My first thought was that for some reason she sounds so much like Kelly Clarkson to be in this. When she first starts talking, I was like, I thought that was Kelly Clarkson for 1 second, then I looked it up.
This led to my favorite movie, From Shrek to Kelly.
I think I identified a lot with Fiona when I was a kid, you know? Insecurity, and I don't know. I think there's some real kind of touching emotional beats in it, honestly. I think that's part of what makes it so everlasting in our minds, maybe. Because they don't do that kind of thing in Disney movies. They're not talking about feelings in Disney movies.
Maybe some of the newer ones, they kind of get there a little bit more with like Tangled and Moana and that kind of thing. But if you're talking about the Disney Renaissance, which this is sort of commenting on, these are people who are externally, the princess characters, are externally defined by their conditions and by the characters who are like pursuing them in different ways.
And the protagonists are action heroes in those. Whereas like Tangled and Frozen come about because of a post-Shrek ecosystem where they're not called Rapunzel and the Snow Queen. They're Tangled and Frozen. They're a twist.
I used to really like the movie Tangled. That was one that I watched a lot when it came out for some reason because I like the music and stuff. But the title apparently was changed to like appeal to boys more. It was just going to be called Rapunzel, but they thought, and that's why they put Flynn Rider on all the posters and stuff because they're like, well, we want money from all the genders, really.
Yeah.
When you were like a kid, Mem, did you find princess narratives, like conventional ones, Disney style ones, to be particularly compelling or not really?
I definitely identified more with the ones that did go more into feelings. Like I really liked The Little Mermaid because that actually is more about her inner world and like wanting to escape and wanting to be something more than people see her as or whatever. But I think even as a kid, I wasn't really that interested in like Snow White or Sleeping Beauty because the women are just like pictures on the screen. Like they're not doing or saying anything. They're not like part of it, really.
Well, in Snow White and Sleeping Beauty, especially, there's so little dialogue in both of those films.
Yeah.
That's kind of like, it's a matter of style where cartoon animated movies are often made sort of on this scene by scene basis by storyboard artists. There are writers there and everything, but it doesn't start with a script like a lot of live action movies do. DreamWorks movies feel like they're a lot more reliant on the writers, even though they still have that same process of developing the story sort of scene by scene.
Yeah.
That's why when it works, it works. And when it doesn't work, you get some incredibly structurally bizarre movies. You get movies like Ants and Shark Tale that don't fit together as movies at all.
And I think the most compelling characters from the Disney Renaissance that, you know, when I think of them, it's like Belle and Ariel. Like, these are characters that have very clear wants and then pursue those wants. And what I think this movie does really well is it's like, this is a horrible system that Fiona has found herself trapped in. She has been locked in a tower for almost her entire life. And they interrogate this, I think, a lot more and better in Shrek 2, where we find out more about Fiona's origins and how this whole thing came to be.
A great example of sort of, I don't know, the narratives that Fiona has internalized is what we hear from her once they finally made their way out of the castle. And she's like, oh, Shrek, take off your helmet. I need you to kiss me. That's the way that it has been, and that's the way that it ought to be. And she talks about how things are supposed to happen in her world.
A princess locked in a tower and beset by a dragon is rescued by a brave knight. And then they share true love's first kiss.
With Shrek? You think, wait a second. You think that Shrek is your true love?
Well, yes.
You think Shrek is your true love?
What is so funny?
Let's just say I'm not your type, okay?
Of course you are. You're my rescuer. Now remove your helmet.
Look, I really don't think this is a good idea.
Just take off the helmet.
I'm not going to.
Take it off.
No!
Now!
Okay! Easy.
He takes off the helmet, and yet turns out he's an ogre, and she couldn't tell from all the green that she was seeing before.
Yeah, she couldn't see that he was green before.
Yeah, I think they do somewhat of a better job because he's covered in soot for a lot of it.
Yeah,
so
but he's still very green.
I don't know.
But they sort of make their way down the hill, and they're journeying back towards Duloc, which is supposed to be sort of a nonstop thing. And the moment the sun starts coming down, Fiona demands, fucking princesses, right? She demands that they have a place to sleep where she can be separated from the boys in some way. And so she ends up building a bedroom for herself inside the tomb of Jesus Christ.
That's right. And Shrek is briefly considering rolling the stone in front of the tomb to just fully entomb her in there.
This is also the best moment in the musical. It's where they sit down and they have this heart-to-heart together. It's funny because you finally get to see like the truth of Shrek.
Finally, we get to see the truth of Shrek. Such a profound,
just fucking sucks
truth
to be
of
Shrek.
So they're sitting and looking at the stars, and Shrek is describing the ogreish interpretations of all the constellations in the sky.
You know what I think? I think this whole wall thing is just a way to keep somebody out.
No. Do you think?
Are you hiding something?
Never mind, donkey.
Oh, this is another one of those onion things, isn't it?
No, this is one of those drop it and leave it alone things.
Well, why don't you want to talk about it?
Why do you want to talk about it?
Well, why are you blocking?
I'm not blocking.
Oh, yes, you are.
Donkey, I'm warning you.
Who are you trying to keep out? Just tell me that, Shrek. Who?
Everyone, okay?
Oh, now we're getting somewhere.
Oh, for the love of Pete.
Hey, what's your problem, Shrek? What you got against the whole world anyway, huh?
Look, I'm not the one with the problem, okay? It's the world that seems to have a problem with me. People take one look at me and go, ah, help, run! A big, stupid, ugly ogre. They judge me before they even know me. That's why I'm better off alone.
And we see that Fiona is kind of we see her like eye in the moonlight as she's watching from inside the tomb of Christ. So she overhears this. This is also the scene from the movie that got leaked a few years ago where we have Chris Farley's performance as Shrek. And it's mostly the same.
Now, come on, what do you want?
I don't have time to set it to music.
Oh, this is another one of those onion things.
No, this is one of those drop it and leave me alone things.
Well, why don't you want to talk about it?
Why do you want to talk about it?
Well, why are you answering the question with a question?
Why are you asking questions I don't want to answer?
Why are you blocking?
I'm not blocking.
Then why do you have problems expressing your wants?
I don't. I want you to shut up. And Farquaad said he'd give me my own swamp in exchange for the princess.
You really think you can trust that Weasley oil rag, don't you?
Yeah, right. But now I'm gonna have what he wants.
Boy, has he underestimated you.
Yeah, he can join the club. People see me and they go, ah! Help! A big, stupid, stinky, smelly, ugly ogre! I'm so scared! And they judge me before they even know me.
Chris Farley, as we mentioned before, he died. He died of a drug overdose.
Right.
While this movie was still in production. And these movies, as we also talked about, the process is always about iterating. It's kind of improvisational on the part of the animators until finally you have the frozen thing. If you want a great example of that, you can listen to our episode about the Sweatbox, which goes through an especially tumultuous production of The Emperor's New Groove, where it finally finds its shape. And so while technically they had just a little bit left of the script to record, they still didn't have the movie in its full shape. And they needed to do something really drastic to be able to replace Chris Farley. They got Mike Myers. They even had to fully reanimate some scenes to the cost of $4 million. And it totally reshaped the way that they were thinking of the movie. There were very heavy rewrites that came after that point.
Like I said, I guess because I really liked Little Mermaid and Beauty and the Beast. And I think I related to Fiona too, of this feeling of like trapped in a stereotype or trapped in like a certain way that you have to live. I mean, even now rewatching it, I'm like, everybody knows people like this, right? That are like so like frustratingly closed off, and you just want to like shake it out of them.
Yeah.
I think it's very applicable to a lot of people's lives.
I think in the movie it works well enough. I genuinely think this moment is not nailed until they adapt it into a musical.
So the musical elevates it.
Genuinely.
I'll say I don't super connect with it on the level of the movie. I don't think the musical works at all, except for one song.
Yeah, and Brian, you and I disagree on the one song that works in Shrek the musical. When you're watching the movie, he says, people judge me before they even know me. We know what Shrek is reacting to, and the musical asks him, but what do you want?
Well, and this is a big difference between kind of the traditional musical way of doing something and the traditional movie way of doing something, is that generally we know what Shrek wants. He wants to be left alone. He wants people out of his swamp. The solid screenplay is that the hero ends up with a thing he didn't know he wanted at the end. His goal changes at the very, very end. He does not end up with what he wants. He doesn't get left alone. Whereas a musical, especially in the like Howard Ashman sense, you set up what they want and then they find the way to get precisely that, although it might happen in a way that they don't expect.
But I mean, that's the thing, is this is not an Ashman and Menken musical, because you know who is doing Ashman and Menken musicals is Disney.
Yeah, it's Disney.
And they're not going to do the Disney thing. Instead, we get Farquaad's boner. He's sitting in bed. He's shirtless. He's 100% preparing to jerk it. The mirror is not happy when he has to pull up an image of Fiona.
Yeah.
This is buck fucking
I
wild.
love that he has
it.
like his fucking bachelor pad Glenn Quagmire ass bedroom with the round bed.
Isn't it like a zebra print blanket?
Yes.
He's got the Venus behind him, but it's him in the Venus's place.
He's got his like glass of wine, his masturbation wine. It's like his jerk off routine is so baroque and so royal. Having the magic, and the mirror has to watch him, right? The mirror is right there, and it has to watch him do it.
Like trying to like leave and like, I don't want it.
Like, play more Rupert Holmes.
After that unfortunate detour, we get a bit more Fiona. This is where the movie shifts its focus to the princess, because it turns out she's not like the other girls, folks. She can make birds pop by singing to them.
This was my favorite scene as a kid. It's just a scene of nonstop murder of innocent creatures.
Yes. It really kind of disturbed me, the bird exploding.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. When I was younger.
Yeah. It's the sizzling of the legs, I think, that really sells it.
And then her looking at the little eggs and then just cooking them for breakfast is such a sick joke.
The idea that it's like out of the bird's control, it's like compulsively singing with her for some reason, and then like it just bothers me on many levels.
Please stop. I don't want to blow up.
Existentially horrifying.
Fiona can also do big burps, and she can defend herself in hand-to-hand combat.
Please let me introduce myself. Oh, merry man! I steal from the rich and give to the needy.
Takes away percentage.
But I'm not greedy. I rescue pretty damsels. Man, I'm good.
Monsieur Who.
Break it down.
And we get a Lord of the Dance / River Dance joke.
We sure do.
I like an honest fight and a saucy little maid.
What he's basically saying is he likes to get
paid. Oh, and an ogre in the bush, rub the lady by the tush. That's bad.
That's bad. That's bad. That's bad.
When a beauty's with a beast, it makes me awfully mad.
He's mad. He's really mad.
Now I'll take my blade and ram it through your heart. Keep your eyes on me, boys, cause I'm about to start.
Man, that was annoying.
It's a fascinating thing because like there's so much I like about this scene, and then the Matrix parody happens, and there's just a part of me that grew up when the Matrix was around who had to see so many parodies of that scene.
In movies, in video games.
I recoil from it.
Yeah, it's very overdone for sure.
Referential humor is one of those things that by its very nature tends to have a sell-by date, but referentialism is kind of one of the key tentpoles of what Shrek is as a thing.
Sure.
There's an entire hour-and-a-half long YouTube video called Shrek Retold, where they have reanimated or restaged every single scene of Shrek. And in most cases, what people do with that, as well as they go in a very referential direction where it's like, oh, we're redoing it to make it look more like this other thing. It's this weird thing about Shrek where there's almost like this context collapse around what the narrative is because the narrative is so grounded in other visuals.
Well, and you have the fact that it got so big that it remains so big today that you have a whole generation of people for whom Shrek is older than them, and they grew up watching Shrek, and they have no basis for the things that it's parodying. We all have this with various forms of media, but like Shrek itself having so many references to so many other things, you could be a child in 2010 or 2016 watching this thing, and you'd see the Matrix parody happen and not know the Matrix. Even though the Matrix is pretty well known, not so much as like a children's movie.
Rated R, very famously.
Like you were saying, how many other references there are in Shrek Retold. There's like anime versions of scenes. There's like, it was a little bit funny to me that it almost seemed like it was drawing from meme culture that was like kind of outdated by the time Shrek Retold came out. There's a lot of this kind of like random humor, like Le Epic type of vibe to a lot of the scenes in Shrek Retold that I thought was kind of funny. That's definitely just like very millennial, extremely millennial.
Especially, the scenes where it's like, oh, we're doing live action, but it's shitty live action. Haha.
Very Channel Awesome vibes from those sections is what I will say. There's sections of Shrek Retold that are beautifully animated. And then there are other ones where it's a person being like, so this is what I was going to animate and didn't, and then just show like still images of things. And I was like, okay, great.
Yeah, I mean, you can't, if you were just to watch that without knowing Shrek, you would have no idea what was going on in the story. And also, like we mentioned briefly earlier, very interesting to me how many of these white men decided to do a black scent for Donkey.
Yeah.
There's a interesting contrast here between the ones that do and the ones that don't. You can tell the ones that don't are like, I'm not going to go there.
I feel like maybe part of what's going on is that because Shrek has become this highly memed thing, people are like, oh, my connection with it is that it's half-assed, essentially. So if I do a half-assed thing, that'll be funny. But the thing about Shrek is that it's not a half-assed movie. They really went for it, you know?
Yeah.
It's just that what it is has aged weirdly.
Yeah, I think it's just the fact that it is like mildly subversive.
That it lends itself to being subverted. You know, like because it is already flipping the table.
Exactly.
You can flip the table.
It's already making fun of stuff, so it's funny to make fun of it.
But just throwing something out there where it's like, well, I fuck this. This is bullshit, and I did nothing. That's not a commentary, and that's not anything. It just sits there.
That's just a sign of the times, though. That's like the memes that those people grew up with were like Flash animations where people are like, I like waffles. Like it doesn't. There's no point. There's no intelligence behind it. It's just kind of like being silly.
So Fiona runs into a nearby house as the sun is setting once again.
A nearby windmill.
That's right. She claims to be afraid of the dark. And Donkey comes in after the sun has gone down.
Even though she did just stay a night in Jesus's tomb, as we were just discussing, she's afraid of the dark.
And, well, it turns out that after hours, she becomes a green ogre.
By night one way, by day another. This shall be the norm. Until you find true love's first kiss, then take love's true form.
Oh, that's beautiful. I didn't know you wrote poetry.
It's a spell. When I was a little girl, a witch cast a spell on me. Every night I become this horrible, ugly beast. I was placed in a tower to await the day my true love would rescue me. That's why I have to marry Lord Farquaad tomorrow before the sun sets and he sees me. princess.
All right, calm down. Look, it's not that bad. You're not that ugly. And where you are, I ain't gonna lie, you are ugly. But you only look like this at night. Shrek's ugly 24/7.
But Donkey, I'm a princess. And this is not how a princess is meant to look.
And we get an inversion of the previous night. Shrek overhears this conversation, believes that Fiona is talking about him. He has fallen in love with her over some smoked weed rat. Mm-hmm. This breaks his heart, and he runs off to go bring Lord Farquaad out to the windmill.
And they don't play this ironically or distantly at all, which is kind of interesting. Like, so much of the rest of this movie, they're keeping a bit of a distance from the emotional stakes of the thing. But I actually think this moment really works. And as a result of this, Shrek immediately was like, all right, I'm going to hold up my end of the deal. He gives Fiona over to Farquaad.
Well, and part of his deal with Farquaad, of course, he gets his swamp deeded back to him.
He gets his
it's
deed
empty
back,
again.
right.
No more refugees.
Now we get a wordless montage over the John Cale cover of Leonard Cohen Hallelujah, which I don't know about you guys, but I can't take this seriously anymore. It's one of those things that I'm assuming must have really worked well dramatically at one point, but now I'm just like, it's so memed to death.
This hit when I was 11, I will say. This really hit when I was 11.
It hit me too.
I think this one works in reverse from the other.
I was singing it.
Yeah, from the other kind of reference jokes is that, like, it hits harder if you don't already know the song. And I think a lot of people, even when the movie was new, didn't necessarily know Leonard Cohen's Hallelujah or the covers of it. Certainly true of me.
Sure, I probably didn't know it before. But yeah, I remember walking around my house looking downcast going, I
mean, to the point where I sang this at a classmate's funeral in high school because she fell in love with this song because of its place in the movie Shrek. You know, it's just like a weird. That's just how pop culture works. It's still part of your life, you know, and it's such a profound song. And if your first experience hearing it is at this point in the movie, you're like, damn, this song's just so fucking good. But then it does turn it into the Shrek song for the rest of your life.
Right. Here's the thing. For me, it's the Watchmen song, I believe.
You saw it in Watchmen before you saw it in Shrek? That's not true.
No. But can you imagine if that's where you found it? Where it was the two of them fucking in the owl ship?
Well, and that was a criticism I saw of people talking about Watchmen. They're like, they're fucking to the Shrek song. You know? It had totally penetrated at that point. It will forever be the Shrek song.
Now I'm thinking they're fucking to All-Star, though, and that would be
that would be good. That would be really good. Donkey then returns to the swamp because Fiona is now away with Farquaad in the castle, but Donkey's got a score to settle. And so
on
they have
the
it
way
out.
there, however, he did run into somebody. We saw that in the Hallelujah montage. The third montage.
That's true.
Actually, the fifth montage of the film, if you count the opening titles and Shrek sitting down for dinner.
Montage-heavy film.
A lot of montages.
But you know, that's what happens when you use pop music for incidental stuff.
Yeah, that's how they get the music in.
Right.
They're making little music videos.
Yeah, they did the same thing with Brother Bear a few years later.
You know, that's how Sergei Eisenstein did it with Battleship Potemkin. It was all the big pop stars of the time.
Yeah, Donkey and Shrek have it out. Shrek ends up apologizing to Donkey because it turns out that, well, Fiona wasn't talking about Shrek when she was saying, oh, who could be with somebody so ugly? And so the dragon flies them back to Duloc, back to the chapel for the wedding. Shrek crashes the wedding.
Now Donkey is consenting to this relationship with the dragon.
I guess?
He's been won over.
Stockholm Syndrome?
When she's useful to him,
The dragon's not verbal, so we don't know more of the details
we don't really
of their
know
relationship.
what's going on here.
I'm as an adult, I'm a little bit disturbed by their first meeting scene because she's literally like holding him captive, squeezing him like a python.
Yeah.
And like forcibly kissing him. It's not a great look.
But then she looks sad by a river.
Wait, I must have missed this. You're saying in the montage you see Donkey come across Dragon? I don't even remember
she's by the river.
Yeah.
They cuddle up.
She's crying by the river,
Because I remember thinking, how the hell did Donkey get to the castle and back?
It's because you're being so absorbed in the poignancy of the song itself. You're not even paying attention to the images on screen.
No, yeah, exactly. I'm like meditating.
He's throwing the sunflower on the fire.
But there probably was a sacred chord.
Okay, wow.
Shrek crashes the wedding between Farquaad and Fiona. This is also meme watch. This is where we get the Farquaad pointing meme.
This also kind of plays with movie convention where Donkey's like, you can't go inside until you get to the objection part. You have to time it perfectly.
He doesn't. He just kind of breaks
Yeah, they
in.
missed it. They missed it entirely.
So Farquaad sixth the knights on Shrek, but the dragon immediately eats Farquaad in retaliation.
This all works pretty well. It's just like this escalation. It happens very, very fast. It's really chaotic. There's a funny bit where Shrek busts in the door and we do the reverse shot to Farquaad, Fiona, and the bishop. And the bishop basically for no reason just says, I'm going to drift out of frame now because they just need to get him out of the staging. So he's just gone.
Yeah, he's gone.
He's gone. He looks at Shrek and he's like, you know what? It's over for me. And, you know, Farquaad is like, you know what? Now I know you're an ogre because the sun has set.
Right.
I now have the crown. He does this funny little thing where he's pointing at the crown. He's like, I'm the king now. You're going to be locked in a dungeon forever like Catherine of Aragon or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then he gets his shit rocked and everybody's happy. Shrek ends up with Fiona and he kisses her and the curse is over. She will be an ogre forever. She does the whole Beauty and the Beast.
Right.
Her face is shiny. All the windows break.
And as her body lies there, Shrek approaches.
Are you all right?
Well, yes. But I don't understand. I'm supposed to be beautiful.
But you are beautiful.
I was hoping this would be a happy ending.
It still hits.
So we get this cover of the classic Monkees song, Now I'm a Believer.
By
Music
Smash
and lyrics
Mouth.
by
Yep.
Neil Diamond.
The carriage is made out of an onion instead of Cinderella's famous pumpkin carriage. We're rocking out, and the movie ends.
And that's it. Like, it's crazy how abrupt the ending is.
That's not it, because we watched it on tape, and there's supposed to be
Yeah,
a
you're
karaoke
right.
breakdown in the
there's
middle of the
just
credits,
not.
and it doesn't happen, and I'm so angry.
The karaoke party's not in the actual movie. What the fuck is up with that?
You're right.
John Lithgow reprises his role as Farquaad inside the belly of the dragon singing
Staying alive. Staying alive. Yeah. He's got a little match that he lights so you can see him in her stomach.
The amount of songs they licensed for
And it's
this.
like, maybe he'll come back for the sequel. He will not. He is dead forever.
No, Farquaad comes back for the Shrek 3D amusement park experience, and he is dead. He is a ghost in that.
When I think about Shrek, so much of what I think about is this last little chunk here where they're all like singing. It's the pop music thing. That's what takes us away. And yeah, like it just ends. We got our fairy tale princess ending. It's very strange
conventional.
to me. And
it ends like a Disney movie, which all are, you know, like think about all the way back to Snow White. The prince kisses her. She wakes up. End. Glowing castle.
Right.
Close the book.
Well, because the end of the story is the romantic couple gets together.
Right.
What more do you need?
Yeah,
that's it.
Where are you going to go from that?
It's so interesting because this is, in one way, it's an inversion of the fairy tale movie, but it's also just a fairy tale movie, just with a slobs versus snobs bent to it. Instead of having an evil stepmother or the evil version of a queen, it's just being a king itself, being a queen itself. That is the bad thing. Being an ogre is good, but we're not actually tearing it apart. Shrek does not lead a revolution of the fairy tale proletariat. Refugees who are in his swamp against Lord Farquaad. He is able to defeat him somewhat individually because he gets a very horny dragon on his side.
Yeah, and we're just left with what is ultimately a marketable consumer product that has been incredibly fucking successful, right?
Yeah.
Shrek, the movie, is this surprisingly small story of a couple buddies and a hot girl. But Shrek, the product, is this massive juggernaut of a thing that people watch over and over and over and over again, that is able to be extended in so many different ways because it can be so many different things to so many different people. I guess, Mem, my question to you is what is Shrek to you? Now thinking about this movie, the games, and all of it. Is Shrek love? Is Shrek life?
I think it's just funny because it's a meme, because everybody knows what it is, because, like I said, it's like kind of trying to be subversive, so you feel like you're kind of in on the joke by continuing to subvert it and turn it into other things. I don't know. I think it's not meant to be thought about that hard.
No.
I think people just think it's a silly thing. And now that it's just kind of like 6-7, right? Like it doesn't mean anything. It's because like enough memes were made about it that it gained so much momentum that it just becomes something else. And there is no meaning.
There is no truth at the heart of Shrek.
You know, but it does make you wonder, like, why Shrek specifically, in the same way that it's like, why B movie? Why is it not Ants or Shark Tale or How to Train Your Dragon or Kung Fu Panda or something? Why is it that?
Yeah, maybe there's kind of a balance going on of like, there are real reasons to connect with Shrek, that I definitely was connecting with it, like emotionally, while at the same time it being a silly thing. Like, I think for whatever reason, people do kind of connect to B-movie in a way.
Right.
Well,
they like jazz.
They love
they want to be in a relationship with a bee, or they want to be a bee in a relationship with a person. I don't know. But because it does also have kind of an emotional, I haven't seen B-movie in many years, but I remember there being some kind of emotional underpinning to it that was real.
Yeah.
And so I think it's like one of those things where it's easy to make fun of, but you connect with it enough that it sticks around in your life in some way as like a real piece of media that you enjoy also. And I don't think people really feel that way about Ants and Shark Tale. No.
Yeah, I mean, for my money, I think there is some real emotion at the heart of Shrek. And I think people feel that, right? And that emotion is revenge and rage. And like there's like an outsider's anger to Shrek that I think permeates all the future properties of Shrek, but it kind of it tapers off as it goes along. Like there's only so long you can sort of fan that flame. Well, it's also like it's the fact that we're still in the 90s essentially, right? I think that 9/11 is the official end of the cultural 90s. Mm-hmm. We see large commercial products that are for the outsider, but not really on the outside. This is DreamWorks SKG. This is the Shrek guys. We had this. Yeah, yes. I think we have a better example of this style with Josie and the Pussycats in the same year, which is just such a fucking fantastic movie, but also still a major commercial product working with a major commercial brand that's been around for like 70 years.
But Josie and the Pussycats is genuinely trying to do a deconstruction, whereas Shrek is just trying to be a fun movie that has a little bit of like light adult humor.
But both movies end with this somewhat individualized, or you can say it's appealing to a kind of family, small community, found family of like, you can still have it all. Josie at the end is still commercially successful, just without the brainwashing songs with Mr. Moviephone. Shrek is still successful. He's able to find a wife and find his way actually to a degree of social mobility we'll find in Shrek 2. But he fulfills the dream. He just didn't even know that he could do that at the beginning of the movie. This is not a victory for the swamp people. We don't really see the ogres. The movie series, the lore of the Shrek universe is actually quite negative on ogres overall. But we do see this idea of like, yeah, you can be something of an outsider. You can be a little bit deviant from the norm, but you still want to achieve the same sort of hegemonic goals in a way that a movie about outsiders in the late 2010s and then into the 2020s would be different. It would be focused differently.
Yeah, maybe it's about the individual versus the group too. Yeah. Ultimately, what is the message of Shrek? That Shrek was keeping himself from getting what he wanted. Yeah. And now he gets what he wants. Yes, by associating with other people, but also by being true to himself. Yeah. First and foremost. Which is a very, late 90s, early 2000s ass kind of message.
Yes, and also don't be a libertarian. That's really, I think, the message I took away from Shrek.
When you were talking about how when they got Mike Myers on, it cost them a bunch of money. Yeah. From what I was reading, it was like, it cost them a bunch of money because of like all these requests that Mike Myers kept making. And I like honestly didn't know before this that he was like known for kind of being an asshole or whatever.
Yeah. But well, he's very controlling.
Mike Myers, after he came on, recorded all the lines not in a Scottish accent.
Correct.
And they did a bunch of animation to that already. And like that's what like the millions of dollars were spent on, is because Mike Myers watched it back, like the version that he made first, and was like, actually, I want to redo the entire thing in a Scottish accent. And then he was like defending himself in an interview later, being like, they're blowing it out of proportion. They didn't pay me millions more to do it. And it's like, no, God. Idiot. They had to redo the animation. That's why they had to spend the money.
And yet he was right. Shrek isn't anything if he's not Scottish. You can watch the footage of Chris Farley and it's like, oh yeah, it's kind of weird.
I mean, the Shrek voice has to have contributed to like the reason that it stuck around for so long, because it's like does Scotland exist? What are the geopolitics of the situation actually? Because when you watch the movie, you're like all the fairy tale creatures get banished and end up in Shrek's swamp. Okay,
right.
So is it like the whole world is controlled by Farquaad except the circle around Shrek's swamp?
Well, once you get into the sequel and you get to Far, Far Away, they're all British, right? Like it's John Cleese.
Yeah, but they don't cross a body of water. So that implies that the Doggerlands are still around. So we're still like deeper into an ice age. The glaciers are much larger.
Shrek Swamp Special Autonomous Region? I don't know.
Yes, and then the people far, far away, they build the cars that then will become the cars and cars. Yes, like it's in one cohesive animated cinematic universe. But the Scottish accent is, I think, one of the great reasons of the longevity, and also just the fact that Shrek is just like one of the guys. He's not some distant figure. He's just like you and me. I think the humanity of Shrek, despite him being an ogre, is what makes people relate to him. And also the fact that he's got those really big hands.
Everybody wants to just burp and fart, man.
Mem, I wanted to thank you for spending 3 hours with us and enduring my overthinking things sometimes.
You're fine.
As we love to do here on our show, hanging out and going all in on Shrek. If people are interested in hearing more from you, seeing what you do, what ought they check out?
Mostly just my YouTube channel. It's just called Memoria, Memoria. I just describe it as I just do Let's Plays. When other people describe me, it's funny to me because it's like, she plays games that are ass and weird. And I'm like, oh, I mean, I'm just playing like what seems interesting to me. Oh, what does that say about me? I don't know.
Well, you've developed a method for looking for interesting games, like a criteria of like how you're going to pick what you play.
I look for stuff that I think would make interesting content that people haven't seen before. So yes, it does end up being like more obscure stuff. And yeah, some people describe it as video essays, and I'm like, I think that's a little bit too, you're giving me too much credit there. It's mostly Let's Plays. I live stream as well, which a lot of people don't find out for like months for some reason after subscribing to me, but I do live stream sometimes. I do videos and stream on YouTube. I also do my streams on Twitch if you prefer that for some reason. If you love seeing advertisements, do it that way. I do have a podcast called GLHF, the world's first podcast in video games, which is a fact that you shouldn't look up, with Annie Austin, much bigger YouTuber than me. And we don't talk about absolutely anything useful on that. It's mostly like how to clean your shower.
That's useful.
Yeah.
I can't think of anything more interesting that we've talked about recently.
I really enjoyed the stream that you did recently where you played a game called This Bed We Made.
Oh, yeah. I actually played a modern game for once.
Yeah.
It's like a mystery game.
And it's like in Montreal and everybody's gay.
Everybody,
and
man.
You have to snoop.
Yeah, which I was not good at all. Any of those like your actions have consequences games. I'm just fucking around. I'm just doing whatever, and whatever happens, happens. But the main character of that game is absolutely insane. She's a maid at a hotel that is literally like opening people's locked suitcases, going through every item. It's great if you love drama. If you actually think about this as being a real person, you're like, she's got serious problems and probably should be locked away.
Please go check out all of those videos. It's a lot of fun. I think that you're going to be able to find something to like if you like our show. If you are listening to our show for the first time, hello, welcome. We have a very affordably priced Patreon at $5 a month, patreon.com/worstofall, where you can listen to us talk about a lot of other things. If you like animation, I'd say check out our episode about The Sweatbox, which is all about the way that The Emperor's New Groove was made. And whether you stick around or just are here for this one, either way, we appreciate you taking some of your time to listen to us today. And I guess I'll just close with this. I was really thinking about breaking down all of Shrek's narrative mechanics and all of the different things that it says about culture. And then I kind of realized, you know what? Maybe I should just celebrate the thing for what it is and say the thing that I've been wanting to say from the beginning. Thank you, Shrek. Shrek, I love you. You are love. You are life. Every evening I dream of your beautiful large green hands. Every morning I wake up having dreamed of your beautiful large green hands. They're wonderful. You're wonderful. Thank you, Shrek. I'm the worst of all possible Joshes.
I'm the worst of all possible AJs.
And I'm the worst of all possible Brians.
And I'm the one and only Memoria in the whole world.
See you next week.